Hey everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault, and once again I'm coming to you with another range report. And today's range report is on a really small 45 caliber handgun from Springfield Armory, and that is the XDs 45 3.3. So this is a single stack 45, and it is in the subcompact frame. I've never shot one of these, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how it performs. But before I get into the things that I like and don't like about this particular gun, I want to thank all the people that make these range reports possible. First and foremost is the person that owns this nice firearm and lent it to the channel, and that is my good friend Sam, who is a local subscriber. So thank you very much, Sam, for allowing me to shoot your gun and give my honest experiences and document my thoughts. I also want to thank my Patreon supporters. You guys know that us firearms channels are in a constant battle for monetization, and my Patreon supporters go a long way in keeping the lights on around here. And finally, my primary sponsor for every one of these range reports, who helps provide all of the ammunition and makes these range reports financially feasible for me, and that is Brownworks. You guys know I talk about Brownworks in every single range report. Mark over there is a master craftsman. He can make fine wood grips for a wide variety of firearms, and I know if you are subscribed here to the Texas Gun Vault, you have a very good taste in firearms, and I know you probably have an extensive collection, and you probably have a bunch of guns that you're like, man, I wish I had some really fine, classy looking, specialty, one-of-a-kind grips for my awesome firearms to show off at the range. Maybe you have a barbecue gun and you have something really high-end and you want something that nobody else has. Well, Brownworks can make it for you, and if there's something on his website that you don't see, I guarantee he can design and make them for you. Please, I'm going to put a link in the description and a pinned comment on this video. Go over there, see what he has to offer. I'm also going to put a discount code for 10% off your first order. He can make one-of-a-kind grips out of many different types of woods, put on custom logos and etching, finish them in many different colors, and he even provides the ability for you to make and choose from laminate woods. That is really awesome. So I want you guys to go over there, check out Brownworks, see all that he has to offer, and please tell him the Texas Gun Vault sent you. All right, so let's start talking about this XDs 45 3.3. And let's talk about the things that I like and don't like about this particular firearm before getting it to the range and seeing how it shoots. Well, there are a couple things about this gun I like, even though Springfields are not my favorite company. First and foremost is the reputation. While I might not personally own any Springfields, and I might not like how they look, but I can fully admit that they have a fantastic reputation for reliability. There is no doubt that they make very nice handguns. A lot of people like them, they shoot them well, and they love them. So I have to acknowledge that, even though they might not be my favorite company. So I do like the fact it is a Springfield. I also really like the fact that for a subcompact gun, they offer this with a rail on the front if you have accessories. Now, I don't have any accessories on this particular gun for this range report, but many of this gun's competitors, like the Glock 36, don't offer a rail. It's really hard to put a rail for accessories on a frame this small, but I think Springfield does a good job in doing so. But that's mainly the things that I like about it. But now let's talk about the things that I don't like about it. And the first one is going to be what I think is the biggest detraction from this gun and kind of the elephant in the room. I mentioned this is a single stack 45 and it's a subcompact. So what in the world can the magazine capacity be? Well, it is only 5 rounds. That's it. 5 rounds. That's all you get in this thing. And I've mentioned in the past that I think single stack handguns are something of the past. They are obsolete. Now, many people get on me and say, I carry a single stack handgun. It's not obsolete. It works great. I'm not saying they don't work good. I'm not saying you can't carry them. I'm not saying they're not accurate or reliable. I am just saying that for the most part, we live in a polymer striker-fired handgun world with double stack magazines. Not every gun sold today is a double stack. I get it, but that's the primary type of firearm you're going to find at the gun stores. They even have guns like the SIG P365, which is very small and very narrow, and it is a double stack handgun with 10 rounds of capacity minimum. So having a 5-round handgun, I don't think really makes a lot of sense. But I'm sure there's some people that may live behind enemy lines in some states or just like single stack guns, and that is perfectly fine. And they think, well, it is a 45, you don't even have to shoot twice. Well, maybe 5 rounds is way more than enough for you. But for me, when it comes to my personal preferences, 5 rounds simply is not enough. Also, handling it here on the workbench, I can tell you that I am not a big fan of this trigger. Now, in the past, when I have reviewed other Springfields, their triggers have been pretty darn good. But for some reason, this one is exceptionally mushy. I'm going to try to show this here on camera here, but this thing has a lot of take-up. It's not very crisp, and I'm not really always sure where it's going to break. There is a wall. Oh, I thought I got to it, and then I can pull it a little bit back. Yeah, I just can't feel that trigger very well. And I believe on the reset, while it is audible and tactile, it feels like it's a little bit further out, and then you have to pull the trigger back. There's some creep. I don't know. I just don't find this to be a very nice trigger, but it might just be because the gun is so small, and maybe they have the pull a little bit heavier because of the nature of the firearm. I am not 100% sure. I just don't like that trigger. Next up, because it is a subcompact and I have larger hands, well, this is a frame that I'm only going to get 2 fingers on. Now, I'm pretty sure there's probably going to be extended magazines for this or extended base plates, but in the configuration of the gun that I have, which by the way, I only got 1 magazine for this review, and because I don't own any other XDSs, I have nothing else to take to the range. So I get 1 magazine. So every one of these videos is just going to be 5 rounds, and I'm sorry about that. That's the logistics of how I got the gun. But this short magazine, I can't really put my pinky on there. And having 45 caliber ammunition in this particular handgun, well, it's probably going to be pretty snappy already. And the fact that I can't get that pinky on it, well, it might not be the best range gun, but it could be an awesome concealed carry gun because of how small it is. But I wish that grip was just a little bit longer. And the last thing I am questioning about the quality of this gun is the guide rod. Now, I have double checked this. This guide rod is installed correctly, but it seems to stick out the front of the handgun. Let me see if I can get this in focus here. Sometimes this camera can be a little bit fidgety. There it is. You can see that guide rod sticks out just a little bit. I'm not really used to that. I'm used to the ends of those guide rods being flush with the front of the slide. Now, as I said, I've double checked. The gun seems to function, seems to cycle just fine. But that guide rod sticks out just a little bit too much, and I kind of find that to be a little bit ugly. I kind of feel like that could be even with the front of the slide. Lots of things here on the table that I like and don't like about it. So you guys are probably asking, well, how do you shoot it? Well, I got to find out. So let's get this thing to the range. And as always, I'm going to set the target out at 7 yards. I'm going to put 1 magazine through it because I only have 1 magazine. So that's 5 rounds. Let's just see how it shoots and what I think about the recoil. Well, I do have to say that this gun recoils a little bit snappy, and I definitely shoot it a little bit low. As you can see, I didn't have any problem with windage, but I did have it with elevation. So each one of those shots consecutively got a little bit higher, and I'm having to hold way over the center of the target with these particular sights to get it on target. Now, this is some type of fiber optic sight. I'm not sure if this is the original. Wow, there we go. Have to get that in focus. So I'm not sure if these have been replaced or not, but that fiber optic sight definitely seems to be off a little bit. I'm having to aim really, really high. But now I know where this thing wants to shoot, so I want to give this another shot. I am not the world's greatest shot, and I fully admit it. So I'm going to put another magazine through this on exactly the same target and see if my grouping can improve any. So let's see if I can shoot this thing any better with a second magazine. Well, unfortunately, I shot it about the same. It just shoots low for me. And as I said, it could be the sights. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm having no reliability issues, and the gun's just snappy and the trigger is not that great, in my personal opinion, but it seems to shoot fine. So I have no issues when it comes to its fit, finish, and function. Everything there looks just fine. All right, so now we're gonna move on to what I call the accuracy portion. And right now I don't have a lot of high hopes because it's a small gun and I'm not shooting it well at 7 yards. Well, I'm gonna put the target back at only 10 yards. Normally I double the distance, put it at a 12 or 15. Well, considering that I'm not happy with my groupings at 7 yards, I'm just gonna go to 10 yards and aim for the head of this IDPA target and see if I can get anything in that circle at the top. All right, so I got 3 rounds on target where I wanted them, but I'm not very happy with this. Now, I know some of you might be watching this video on my channel and you've never seen any of my other range reports and think I am just a horrible shot. Well, maybe that is the case. I consider myself to be an average shooter, and I know I can shoot guns better than what you're seeing on camera. I just don't shoot this gun very well. Now, I know some of you out there are gonna say, I own this gun, I carry this gun, and I can shoot a bullseye at 500 yards. It's the most amazing gun I have ever shot. You're an idiot, you're a terrible shot, you're a moron. Okay, I totally get that, but for me, it just doesn't work very well. And also remember, I only have an example of one, so maybe yours is built a little bit differently. For me, this one shoots a little bit low. It could be because of the size of my hands and how I have to hold this grip. I am not sure. But for me, it's not shooting very well. As I said, I compensated for that aim. I got 3 shots on target, so it seems to be running fine. I think it'd be a perfectly adequate self-defense pistol, but I'm just not shooting it very well, and I'm a little bit disappointed in myself because I'm used to shooting guns and pistols a lot better than this. So right now, I'm not a big fan of it, just because it might not be the one for me. Well, I want to give my wife Becky a shot. She has smaller hands, and who knows, she might shoot this thing great. Well, we're gonna find out. Normally, she's not a big fan of 45s, especially in subcompact guns. I always mention this, she is a little bit recoil sensitive. She loves full-size 9mm. Her favorite gun is probably the Glock 19. This thing's a lot smaller, a lot snappier, and definitely more powerful when it comes to felt recoil because of the 45. So I'm just curious how she's gonna handle it. All right, so in full disclosure, my wife and I have about the same opinions on everything, from politics to the food we like and our choices of how to parent. However, when it comes to Springfield Armory, we actually disagree. I'm never really a fan of these guns, but normally she is. She's always excited when I have a Springfield Armory in here at the Texas Gun Vault for review. There's something about them that she always likes, except for this one. She does not like this one at all. She does not shoot it well. She said it was too snappy, even though she can get 3 fingers on this grip. She just didn't like it, didn't shoot it well, and had thoughts that the trigger just wasn't as clean and crisp as a regular Springfield. So take that for what it's worth. I know you guys always think I'm biased against this, but I'm telling you, she likes Springfield, but didn't like this particular model. So I hope, Sam, when you see this video, you're not mad at both of us, but I understand if you are. It's a nice gun. It works well. It just doesn't shoot well for me. Well, this is the part of the review where normally I do a self-defense scenario type of test where I do a quick magazine change, which is, I think, something that you would want to see, because if you're going to carry this gun, you want to carry more than 5 rounds, but because I only have 1 magazine, that's just not going to be an option in today's range report. But I am going to try some hollow point plus P ammunition, because if you are going to carry this for a concealed carry, which I think is its primary role, you're probably going to be carrying some hollow points. Sometimes these guns don't feed hollow points very well, so I'm going to put a magazine of hollow points plus P through it just to see how they function and if I have any issues. And as expected, the gun ran flawlessly. The grouping actually was pretty good, but it's still pretty low. So what are my final thoughts on the Springfield Armory XDs 45 3.3? Well, I know this is probably a fantastic gun for some people, especially those people that like single stacks and 45s. And I know a lot of people that watch my channel fall into those categories. But for me, well, I didn't really enjoy shooting it. I really feel that for a gun in this size, there are better options out there, especially ones with more capacity, I think, that are chambered in more viable self-defense rounds. And I know that's kind of up for debate. Some people are going to say the 45 is the ultimate self-defense round. I kind of prefer other calibers, but that's okay. I definitely think there are smaller guns if you want to go smaller. I definitely think there are guns in this size that have more capacity. And I definitely think there are guns that have better triggers and that I shoot better that are this size or chambered in 45. So for me, the gun did run well. I have no problems with that. It seems to be high quality and well built. I just don't shoot it very well, and I am not really interested in it because of its limited capacity. I just don't think it would have a role in my collection or in my concealed carry rotation. I just find it to be quite a limited firearm. It's a little bit anemic for me. And then if I had to use it in a self-defense scenario, especially if it was going to be at any distance beyond 7 yards, well, I'm going to start questioning my accuracy with it. So I wouldn't really feel comfortable carrying it. But I had no issues when it came to its reliability. I had no function issues. As I said, the gun seems to be solid. It seems to be well built. Everything you would expect from Springfield. It's just not the gun for me. But you have to take what I say with a grain of salt. You might have different hand sizes. You might like different things than I do. You're definitely a different person with different shooting tendencies. And this might be a great gun for you. But my rating on this gun has to come from my personal perspective, personal opinions, and experiences. And in my opinion, this gun is not going to rate very high because I don't have any purpose for it. I don't enjoy shooting it. A gun has to be fun. And I kind of feel like the trigger could be better. It could have more capacity, but you guys have heard me complain about all of that. So on my star system, how would I rate the XDs 45 3.3? Well, I'm only going to give this one 2.5 stars out of 5. Because it ran well with no hiccups, no failures to feed or eject, I can't give it any lower of a score. It definitely works, and chambering a gun this small in 45 is quite an engineering feat. So they do a good job with that. I just don't shoot it well. I don't enjoy shooting it. And, well, I just don't think it has any place in my carry rotation with such a limited capacity. But your mileage may vary and your needs may vary, and that's okay. So there you go, my final thoughts on the Springfield Armory XDs 3.3 chambered in 45. What do you guys think? Do you guys own one of these? And what do you think of these subcompact guns in 45? I'd love to know your thoughts in the comment section below. So, as always, thanks for watching.